Well, good afternoon and welcome. Before we dive in, I want to ground us in just a scripture that really just means a lot to me as I've been doing these lives. And that scripture comes from Ephesians 2:10. And it says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the things that He planned for us long ago." Good morning. Good morning. So, essentially, you are not an accident. You are not a mistake. The business that you're building, the dream that you won't let go, that's part of what God planned for you long ago. So, I want to, before we get started, I want you to share with your friends. So, please share on your networks. Please like and also, please subscribe and follow to whichever social media platform that you are following. Thank you so much for joining me today for day 6. We are on day 6 of my 90-day challenge. Every single day, I am showing up live on social media to encourage women in particular, but there are men who also need that encouragement. So I do not discriminate, but I do like to hone in on women who are ready to start a business, who are who've already started a business, but you need support in getting that business off the ground, and women who are looking to build and grow what they've already started. So you are in the right place if you are someone who is looking to build a business. Thank you for joining me. And if you are new here, if this is your first time joining me, I am Dr. Tonya, and this is Dr. Tonya Live, real talk for women building their businesses. So, today, on day 6 of this 90-day journey, our topic today is the cost of delay, what playing small is actually costing you. So grab your lunch, get comfortable, and let's get into this conversation. I'm excited, as always, to have this conversation with you. So I've been doing this now for a week, and today is the first day of the new week. I'm not hosting on the weekends, but unless there may be a bonus session that I might do from time to time. But right now, I'm just doing weekdays, and I'm glad that you are joining me. So let's get into this topic. Last week, we spent time talking about fear. And fear just kind of plays itself a lot into the journey that a lot of folks are on when they're looking to build their own businesses. And it's not your fault that fear comes into play, but it does a lot of times because when we're building a new business, we are taking a risk. And depending on the kind of personality that you have, whether or not you're somebody who's like me, who I'm not really typically afraid of taking certain types of risk, or somebody like my husband, who I love dearly, but is not typically someone who likes to take risk. He wants to count all of the cost, right? And so here's the thing, you do have to count the cost even when you're taking a risk. But he would rather count it and just stay at the status quo. If all is well, all will stay well for him. That's kind of how he operates. But that's not how I operate. All is well is not the only thing that we stay at. We've got to think about what it is that we are losing out on. What is the cost of our delaying getting our businesses moving off the ground, rolling, and making a difference, solving problems for people out there in the marketplace? We've got to think about what that means. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. And feel free to interact with me. Actually, I should have my other chat connected. I don't think I had it connected on the other side so I can see from the other streaming platforms. I want to make sure that as the messages are coming in that I can actually see what people are saying. So, I want you to think about this cost of delay for a minute. So there's some things that happen when we delay starting the business, especially if the ideas came from God Himself, because He gives us ideas for businesses that we're supposed to start because He knows that it will align very nicely with the purpose that He's put inside of us and the gifts that He has given to all of us. So we all have gifts. So that is something that I always want to establish. We all have gifts. They don't look the same. They don't even operate the same. But we have gifts that we are required to use. I feel like this, and I feel like scripture can back me up. When we don't use the gifts that God has given us, He has the right to remove them. So it's kind of like a parent. Think about when your kids are small, if you have children and it's their birthday, or maybe it's Christmas, and you give them, a slew of gifts, and you watch them as they play, and they play with this one and they play with that one, they play with this one and that one. And at some point you notice that that gift over there never gets touched, never gets played with. You realize that maybe they don't really appreciate that gift, or maybe they don't want that gift, or maybe they don't like that gift. Maybe they don't know how to use that gift. And so as a parent, you can remind them, "Hey, don't forget there's that gift over there that you haven't used yet. Do you need some help learning how to use that gift, or playing with that gift, or operating that gift? Maybe there's something that they could use from you." So same thing with us. We may need to go back to the creator of the gifts and ask that creator of the gifts, "Hey, is there a way that I should be using this particular gift that you've given to me?" And if we choose not to go back to the creator to ask, that's on us. But the creator can say, "Hey, this gift may be better used somewhere else. And I'm going to take this gift and I'm going to give this gift to someone else." Just like a parent. If your child doesn't touch that gift that you've given to them, you can then say, maybe there's another child out there who might prefer to use this gift. And so you then take that gift. Maybe you wait till the child's not looking. I don't know, but you take that gift and you give it to another child who you think might really appreciate it and use it. Kind of reminds me of the parable of the talents, right? And so, this is a story that Jesus is telling, and he's talking about whether or not the individuals who are given these talents are um stewarding them correctly. Are we taking care of those gifts and those talents, right? So in this story that he's telling, this parable, he's telling the story of how, one gets, a certain amount of gifts, the most number of gifts, 5 gifts, or talents, if you will, and the next one gets 2, and then other one gets 1. And so, when the master comes back to just check to see what has happened with these talents, he finds out that the one with the 5 that has actually doubled it. Same with the one with the 2. The one with the 1 decided to bury his talent, right? And so when he buried that talent, and so let's bring it up to modern day. When we bury our talents or our gifts, what happens when we bury them, right? So this guy, go back to that story, the guy who buries a talent, he's now chastised and rebuked for burying his talent and not investing it and not growing it. And so that talent gets taken away and gets sent to given to the person that has the most, which seems like it's unfair. But the idea is, no matter how many talents, how many gifts God gives to you, you have a responsibility to use them. Don't bury them, don't hide them, don't pretend like they do not exist. Otherwise, the giver of that gift can remove it and give it to someone else. That's not what we want to happen. So go back to this topic that we're talking about, where we're talking about the cost of delay, and and how playing small can actually cost you when you're thinking about the business that God has given you. So God gives us ideas for how to build businesses using the gifts and the talents that he has given to us. Now, that it's more than just our gifts and our talents that allow us to create a business, but in this case, we're just going to talk about that for just a few more minutes. And how is it that we can use these gifts and these talents to fulfill the calling and the assignment that God has given us with the business idea that he has given to us? So now, if we decide that we are going to bury our gifts and talents and not use them to build the business that God has created for us, that could be taken away. So that is a cost for delaying. That is one cost for delaying moving forward with getting your business off the ground. those gifts and those talents could be removed. The idea could be removed. The opportunity could go away. And so we don't want to sit on what God has given us. We want to move on what He has given us. So here's some other things to consider when we think about the cost of delaying moving forward with getting our business moving and built and off the ground. Okay. For those of you who are just joining me, I want to thank you for joining me. I am on day 6 of my 90-day challenge to support business owners as they are looking to build their brand new businesses and get it off the ground or to build what they've already started. So, if you're here for the first time, thank you for joining me. Let's get into this topic a little bit more. So, we're talking about the cost of delay and what it costs us when we don't move forward in getting our businesses built. So, here's a simple thing that maybe may mean a lot to you or may mean a lot to others, but when we don't get that business going, when we wait to get that business off the ground and to move on it, we lose out on the satisfaction and the fulfillment that comes with it. Now, some of you might be thinking that's not such a big deal, but the people that I have talked to, people that I know who have something inside that they're looking to birth and that they're looking to build, they don't feel fulfilled until they take steps to actually make that happen. So, that feeling of unfulfillment is something that actually makes you feel antsy and uncomfortable. I know what it's like when God gives me a dream and something that I am supposed to move on, and I sit on it and don't do anything with it. It's like I can't rest. I can't get comfortable. I can't just flow because it always keeps coming back to me. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Just this morning, I was having a conversation with a really dear friend of mine who has been sitting on a business idea that needs to be launched. And I said to her, because we are like very close, we've been close for decades. And I said to her, set aside some time next week. I know I should not have to do this with you because you know better. You know this is what you're supposed to be doing. Thank you for your comments, by the way. You know you need to be acting on this, but set aside some time next week in the afternoon after I do my Dr. Tonya live. Take time off of your 9 to 5 job. We are going to sit down for the rest of the afternoon and we're going to get this business off the ground. You already have started some of the work, but you haven't done the work. And nothing happens when nothing happens. I'll say it again. Nothing happens when nothing happens. So if you don't move forward, nothing is going to happen in this business. Nothing. I'm telling you. If you don't create the momentum, if you don't create the drive and move behind the drive and the motivation of what you are doing to serve others, meaning what your business can do for other people. So here's another cost to the delay in getting your business off the ground. When you delay it, somebody isn't getting the service that you need. Somebody out there, and I don't know who the people are that are assigned to you, who the clients are that are supposed to buy from you, who the customers are that are supposed to get the products and or the services that you have to offer. But when you don't move on it, they lose out on getting the thing that is going to make their lives better. So imagine the person that is supposed to sell you your vacuum cleaner. I'm going to use that as an example. So imagine the person that not even sell you. Imagine that the vacuum cleaner did not exist, or the sweeper or whatever you use to get dust and dirt off of your carpets and your floors. Imagine the person who was supposed to invent it chose not to do it and just delayed it. You would be doing whatever our ancestors used to do before there were vacuum cleaners and electronic sweepers to help us get it out. That's what you would have to do. Now, I don't know what the product and the service that you have that God has given to you, the thing that you're supposed to create and build to make someone else's life better. I don't know what yours is, but if you don't move on doing what it is to get that thing up and running and moving, Don't you understand that there is somebody on the other side who is not going to be who's not going to benefit? They're not going to be blessed by the thing that you have to offer. So if that vacuum cleaner, whoever created the first vacuum cleaner, never created it, never sold it, because you can create something and never do anything with it. But if they never sold it and they never got the word out that here is an improved way to clean your floors, to clean your carpets, if they had never done that, then we would be on the other side of that. We would lose out on that. So just about everybody I know owns a vacuum cleaner of some sort. Even if you don't have carpet and you have wood floors, people will use their vacuum cleaners on their wood floors to just make it easier for them so they don't have to sweep it. Whatever it is, I'm using the vacuum cleaner as an example because some of us don't realize how critically important it is for us to take those gifts and those talents and to create and build the thing that God has put in your heart to build. Because when we don't do that, someone else is going to lose. Not just you, but someone else. But then there's a blessing that comes when we serve other people with the service or the product that God has given us to serve with. So if I chose, so some of you, listening today, and you might be being blessed by this, you might be getting ideas for how you can build your business and build the thing that God has given you to do, and it blesses me because you are blessed. But if I chose never to put this out there, and whatever it is that I am doing. So in the business that Dr. Erica, my business partner, my wonderful business partner, and I have together, we have created a system for school districts. We call it the Nurturing Greatness System. I spoke a little bit about it Friday, I think it was. And that nurturing greatness system is really a game changer in education. And I kid you not. When I say it is probably some of the best work that we've ever done, it really is how God allowed us to create this idea of a nurturing greatness system, which is going to be a game changer for students in schools across this country. If we chose to sit on this and never create it, the children on the other side of our not creating it will never be able to benefit, because the benefit that these children are going to get is they are going to be able to be in schools where it's all about them. It's centered around them. Not only do I mean it's centered around them, but I mean that it is inquiry based, that students are going to be celebrated for the brilliance and the gifts and the talents, that those gifts are going to be cultivated in their classrooms. The time that they spend in their classrooms is going to be all about building them up and helping them to understand the gifts that they have that they can use to actually solve problems in their neighborhoods, in their schools, in their communities, in their society, and even globally. But imagine if students don't ever get to be in classrooms that cultivate their gifts, if they're never in classrooms that see them. Like, I told a story about how my first grade teacher saw the leader in me and gave me opportunities to develop my leadership skills. So the same thing with this nurturing greatness system. So if Dr. Eric and I just sat around talking about what a great idea this is such a great thing, that is not enough. The cost of our delaying not telling school districts about it, because we have to tell them about it for them to be able to implement it, for them to be able to say, hey, we need this for our students. Our students are not engaged. Our students don't enjoy coming to school. And so this system is going to help them to be able to want to enjoy school, want to enjoy the experience they have when they come into classrooms. It's going to help them feel good about who they are, their identity, what gifts they have inside of them, and how they can use those gifts in their learning. All of this is really important. But if we sat on it, if we delayed getting it out there, the kids suffer as a result. And so when I talk about the fulfillment that comes when we move on the thing that God has given us to do, I'm talking about that fulfillment is not just for the person on the other side, but for you too. For me too, I'm pointing to myself because I also get fulfilled when I know that I am walking in my purpose. I'm walking in my calling. I'm doing the assignment that God has given me to do. And the same thing will happen for you when you are doing exactly what it is that God has called you to do. And so, some of the other things that I want you to think about is a lot of times we will delay what it is, that we're supposed to be doing because of fear. So last week I spent some time talking about fear, and we'll talk about fear periodically because fear often is the thing that paralyzes us. It's the thing that often stops us from being able to move forward even when God has called us to something. We still will get so overwhelmed with fear that we don't move. We get paralyzed. And then it causes us to delay what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And so fear doesn't disappear just because you delay the thing that God has called you to. It's not just going to like, oh, so I'm afraid, so I can't move on it. And then tomorrow you wake up and that fear doesn't go away if you haven't addressed that fear. And we're going to talk about a way that you can address it. I'm actually going to give something away to you today for free, but I'll talk about that in a minute, in a few minutes rather. But that fear doesn't just disappear just because you say, I'll wait another day. I'll wait till next week. I'll wait till next month, next year. I'll wait till next year to get this thing off the ground. I don't have a lot of time right now. And remember, I talked last week about the inner ear and the lies that fear will tell you, like you don't have time, you can't build this, you don't have the resources that you need. All the things that fear will whisper in your ear to delay you from moving forward. It is a lie from the enemy himself. And we have to combat that fear, fight that fear, and do the thing that God has told us to do, whatever it is, whatever that assignment is. You have to do it. Delaying it does not make that fear go away. Now, addressing that fear is a whole nother story. So addressing that fear is the work that needs to be done, but you need to address it like right away, because when you address it, then you can move forward. Sometimes we also have to move forward despite the fear. Okay, so we just have to take a step of faith and just do what we're supposed to be doing. There is a business inside of you that needs to be built, needs to be started. There are people waiting for your gifts that come through your business idea, that come through the plans that are going to help you develop that business. There are people waiting for that. Don't delay it any further, because the longer you delay, the longer it takes for them to get what they need to solve the problems that they have that you have the answers to, because your business solves a problem. Your business um, creates opportunities for people. Your business expands opportunities and ideas for people. But if you're sitting on that business and you are delaying it because of all the things that have caused you to delay it and the procrastination that you are guilty of, that's not going to help you. It just isn't. And so I recommend that you do it afraid if you are afraid. But understand that we don't have to sit in fear. Fear does not have to overtake us. Fear does not have to um, control us. We have to address those fears. I actually have something that I want to give to you today, and I want you, and I'll also post this as well. But it's a gift that I have, and it's free. But for those of you who've been on this live, you know that we've talked about fear. Last week, we talked about fear. It often is the thing that stands in the way of us being able to move forward. So I created something called When Fear Knocks. It's a 10-day devotional. It really is for women, but it's not like men can't use it. They can. But I put it on my website in a way that is very interactive. It's a new thing that you can actually do. And here's what makes it different. different. You don't just download it, but you can do it right on the page. 10 days worth. Each day there's a scripture, there's a truth about how fear operates. There are 3 journal questions that you answer right there on your phone or on your laptop. And then there's a prayer to close it out. So it'll save your answers privately. I can't see them. No one else can see them. It'll track your progress through all of the 10 different days. And at the end, you can download everything that you've written and you can record it. Um, you'll have your own record of walking from fear into courage. So we we go from calling fear by its name because you cannot combat what you cannot confront. So we call fear by its name. Last week we actually named the different fears that stand in the way of you being able to move forward in the plans that God has for you. Remember at the top of the hour at the top of the half hour when I opened this up, I started off with Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's masterpiece. So understand that you are God's masterpiece. That is where your identity is rooted in Him. And as His masterpiece, this beautiful creature that He has created you to be, He has formed you and He has created you with plans to do good things. Okay. So the idea here is for you to move forward in doing the plans that God has for you. And you can do it in over 10 days, where you say yes, God, to what it is that He has given you to do. And if you download it and you can print it out, there's also a PDF version of it right there on the same page if that's easier for you to like download it and print it out. And you can do just that. So now, let's go back to just the overall topic as we close out for today, because we are wrapping it up. We're at the end of this half hour. God has given you a plan for a business, an idea for a business. You need to move forward with it. You need to address the fears that are standing in your way. When you don't move forward with the things that God has given you, there is a cost to that delay. That cost is not just your own fulfillment, but it's also the cost of other folks on the other side who need what it is that you have to offer. So don't delay in moving forward. Take a step of faith. If you need help taking that step of faith, if fear is your problem, download the free gift that I just shared with you, and or you can reach out to me. So here's how you can reach me. All right. So I got it on a piece of paper. It's on the screen. If you are not on Instagram and you're on any one of the other social media platforms, you know that you can go onto um, TonyaBreland.com, my website. You can contact me. You can email me at Tonya@TonyaBreland.com. Any of that is available to you. You can DM me. You can send me a message. All of that. I do respond to my messages. It may take me 24 to 48 hours, but I will respond to you. And again, I would love for you to get that free resource. In the meantime, until tomorrow, the world is waiting for you to say yes to the things that God has assigned for you to do. Until then, I will see you tomorrow. Our topic is calling versus career. Do you know the difference? So, God bless you. I really appreciate you joining me. Have a great rest of your day and get out there and do what God has called you to do. God bless you.